In a quiet, upscale neighborhood where conformity was king, a homeowners association president lost a composure at the sight of a black man's Rolls Royce parked in his own driveway, sparking a confrontation that spiraled into a shocking arrest. Within minutes, a simple misunderstanding fueled by prejudice landed him in handcuffs. But what followed was a reckoning that exposed deep biases and turned a routine day into a viral lesson in accountability. The incident took place in Pinewood Estates, an exclusive gated community in suburban Atlanta, known for its manicured lawns and strict HOA rules. Malik Jordan, a 39-year-old tech entrepreneur, had recently moved into the neighborhood after selling his startup for $200 million. Malik was no stranger to success, having built his company from a garage operation into a leader in cybersecurity software. His wealth afforded him luxuries like the sleek Rolls Royce Phantom that now sat in his driveway, a symbol of his hard-earned achievements. But to some in Pinewood Estates, it was an anomaly that didn't fit their expectations. Malik was a private man, preferring to keep a low profile despite his wealth. He had chosen Pinewood Estates for its security and quiet, hoping to settle into a life of comfort with his wife, Aisha, and their 2 young children. The neighborhood was welcoming on the surface, but Malik sensed undercurrents of judgment from certain residents, particularly Karen Mitchell, the HOA president. Karen, a 55-year-old real estate agent with a reputation for enforcing rules with zeal, was known for her meticulous oversight of everything from lawn heights to mailbox designs. To her, Pinewood Estates was her domain, and she took pride in maintaining its standards. On a sunny Saturday morning, Malik was washing his Rolls Royce in his driveway, a routine he enjoyed for its simplicity. The car, a custom black Phantom with chrome accents, gleamed under the sunlight, drawing curious glances from neighbors walking by. Malik, dressed in a t-shirt and jeans, was focused on his task, unaware that Karen was watching from across the street, her expression a mix of suspicion and indignation. Karen approached, her clipboard in hand, her stride purposeful. "Excuse me," she said, her voice sharp. "Who gave you permission to park this car here?" Malik looked up, wiping his hands on a rag. "It's my car and this is my driveway," he replied calmly. "I don't need permission." Karen's eyes narrowed. "This is Pinewood Estates," she said. "We have rules about vehicles. That car doesn't belong here. It's ostentatious." Malik raised an eyebrow, sensing the underlying tone. "It's parked in my driveway, not on the street. I'm within the HOA rules." Karen scoffed, flipping through her clipboard. "I don't know who you are, but I'm the HOA president, and I say it's a violation. You need to move it to your garage immediately." Malik's patience wavered, but he kept his tone even. "I've read the bylaws. There's no rule against parking in my own driveway. If you have an issue, take it up at the next HOA meeting." Karen's face reddened. To her, Malik's calm defiance was a challenge to her authority. "I don't think you understand how things work here," she said, stepping closer. "People like you don't just move into Pinewood Estates and do whatever you want." The words hung in the air, their implication unmistakable. A few neighbors, drawn by the raised voices, paused to watch from their yards. Malik set down his rag, his jaw tightening. "People like me," he repeated. "Care to explain what you mean by that?" Karen faltered, but her pride pushed her forward. "You know what I mean," she snapped. "This car, this attitude, it doesn't fit. I'm calling the police. We don't tolerate troublemakers." Malik shook his head, incredulous. "You're calling the police over a car in my driveway? Go ahead. I'll wait." Karen pulled out her phone and dialed 911, her voice trembling with indignation as she reported a suspicious individual with an unauthorized vehicle in Pinewood Estates. Malik stood his ground, arms crossed, as neighbors whispered and recorded the scene on their phones. Within minutes, 2 police officers arrived, their cruiser pulling up to Malik's driveway. The officers, both white and in their 30s, approached cautiously. "Sir," one said, "we got a call about a disturbance. Can you tell us what's going on?" Malik explained calmly, showing his driver's license and the car's registration, both of which confirmed he owned the Rolls Royce and the house. "This is my property," he said. "I'm washing my car. She's upset because she doesn't think it belongs here." Karen interjected, her voice shrill. He's being confrontational. That car is a violation, and he's refusing to comply with HOA rules. I want him removed. The second officer turned to Karen. Ma'am, if this is his property, he has the right to park his car here. Is there an actual HOA rule being violated? Karen stammered, flipping through her clipboard. It's about maintaining the neighborhood's aesthetic. That car is too flashy. It draws the wrong kind of attention. Malik couldn't hold back a chuckle. The wrong kind of attention? It's a Rolls Royce, not a tank. You're making this personal. The first officer, sensing the tension, asked Malik to step aside for a private conversation. Look, he said quietly. She's not backing down. Let's de-escalate this. Can you just move the car to the garage? Malik's eyes hardened. I'm not moving my car because she's uncomfortable with me. I'm not breaking any laws or rules. If you're going to do something, do it based on facts, not her feelings. The officer sighed, clearly frustrated. Karen, overhearing, raised her voice again. He's threatening us. Arrest him. The situation spiraled. The second officer, responding to Karen's hysteria, asked Malik to turn around and place his hands behind his back. We're detaining you until we sort this out, he said. Malik, stunned, complied, but not before pulling out his phone to record the interaction. This is unbelievable, he said as the cuffs clicked around his wrists. I'm being arrested for washing my car. Neighbors gasped, some shouting in protest, others filming the scene. The officers placed Malik in the back of the cruiser, while Karen stood triumphantly, clipboard in hand. But her victory was short-lived. As the officers ran Malik's information, they confirmed his identity. Malik Jordan, CEO of CyberGuard Solutions, resident of 142, Pinewood Drive, and owner of the Rolls Royce. There were no outstanding warrants, no violations, no reason to detain him. Meanwhile, Aisha, Malik's wife, arrived home from a morning errand and saw the commotion. She rushed to the cruiser, demanding answers. What is going on? She asked, her voice shaking with anger. That's my husband. He lives here. The officers, now realizing their mistake, removed the cuffs and apologized. It was a misunderstanding, the first officer said. We were responding to a call about a disturbance. Aisha wasn't having it. A disturbance? He was washing his car. This is about her, she said, pointing at Karen. She profiled him because he's black and drives a nice car. You need to deal with her, not us. The neighbors, now gathered in a small crowd, began murmuring in agreement. Karen, sensing the tide turning, tried to backtrack. I was just enforcing the rules, she said. I didn't know who he was. You didn't care who he was, Malik said, rubbing his wrists. You saw a black man with a nice car and assumed I didn't belong. That's the problem. The officers, caught between Karen's complaint and the growing crowd, decided to de-escalate by leaving the scene, but not before issuing Karen a warning for filing a false report. Malik, now free, turned to the crowd. This is my home, he said. I'm not going anywhere. If anyone has a problem with that, take it up at the HOA meeting. The incident didn't end there. Malik's phone recording, along with videos from neighbors, went viral on social media, with hashtags like hashtag HOA Karen and hashtag Rolls Royce arrest trending. News outlets picked up the story, with headlines like Black CEO handcuffed over HOA dispute and Karen's call lead to outrage in Atlanta suburb. The video showed Karen's aggressive demeanor and Malik's calm responses, painting a clear picture of prejudice. Malik and Aisha wasted no time. They hired a lawyer and filed a formal complaint with the HOA, demanding Karen's removal as president. They also contacted the police department, requesting an investigation into the officers' handling of the situation. The community rallied behind them, with several neighbors submitting statements about Karen's history of overzealous enforcement, often targeting newcomers who didn't fit her vision of Pinewood Estates. The HOA held an emergency meeting a week later, attended by nearly every resident. Malik spoke, detailing the incident and its impact on his family. I moved here for peace, he said. Instead, I was profiled and humiliated in my own driveway. This isn't about a car, it's about respect. Karen, given a chance to respond, claimed she was acting in the neighborhood's best interest. But the evidence, videos, witness statements, and a lack of any HOA rule against driveway parking, was overwhelming. The board voted unanimously to remove her as president, and she resigned from the HOA entirely, citing personal reasons. Her real estate business suffered as clients distanced themselves, unwilling to be associated with her actions. The police department issued a public apology to Malik, and the officers involved were required to undergo bias training. Malik, however, wasn't satisfied with apologies. He launched a community initiative, funded by his foundation, to educate homeowners associations about implicit bias and fair enforcement. He also hosted a neighborhood barbecue at his home, inviting residents to meet him and Aisha, turning a moment of division into one of unity. The Rolls Royce remained in the driveway, a quiet symbol of Malik's refusal to be diminished. The incident, while painful, became a catalyst for change in Pinewood Estates. Residents formed a diversity committee to review HOA policies, ensuring they were applied equitably. Malik's story, shared widely, inspired others to speak out against similar experiences, sparking a broader conversation about race and privilege in suburban America. Malik continued his work at CyberGuard Solutions, his reputation as a leader strengthened by his resilience. He and Aisha settled into their life in Pinewood Estates, no longer just newcomers, but pillars of community learning to confront its biases. Karen, meanwhile, faded from prominence, her name a cautionary tale about the consequences of judging others without cause. The handcuffs were a momentary indignity, but Malik's response, calm, strategic, and unwavering, turned a fleeting injustice into a lasting legacy of change.